morning, Tottenham fans. Just finished watching the West Ham Tottenham game, which finished 1-1. Tottenham were just going through the motions. West Ham didn't really look interesting, so wasn't really the best watch. But there was one shining light that I see, especially in the first half, and that was Mathys Tel, who I thought was our best player on the day. So it got me to thinking, is Tel worth 50 million, and should Spurs sign him at the end of the season for 50 million pounds? What would this mean for Mikey Moore if we did? What would it mean for Sonny? Could 50 million be spent better? Is he worth it? Let me just talk about that in this video. So, in my opinion, I don't think we've had that long to see if he's worth that much. He seems to me like he's getting better and better the more I see him. His work rate is great, his attitude is great, he definitely has a strong mentality and a will to win. He's got pace, he's got skill, he's scored 3 goals and got 1 assist for Spurs since joining. He's got bags of potential, he's only 19 years old. He's very likely to go to the top, in my opinion. He's going to be a top player in years to come. But for me, at the moment, I don't think I could value him at 50 million. It would be brilliant if we could get him on another year's loan, but this time with an obligation to buy, because I can't see us having an option to buy if we extended the loan deal. But if we had an obligation to buy for a little bit less, for like 30 million, I think I'd be more interested that way. I can't see that happening, but I also can't see another club coming in and spending 50 million on Tel at the moment. I just can't see it. So if Bayern want him gone, then they're either going to have to drop his price, or they're going to have to negotiate another loan deal with Spurs, maybe, or with another club. The problem we may have, and it's not a bad problem, it's a good problem, is Spurs may have Champions League football next season. And if so, are we going to risk 50 million on potential when we really need to build up our squad? We need to build it up like with some really top quality players. I'm not doubting that Tel could turn out to be a top quality player, but it would be a risk. We're going to need probably ready now footballers. Could we spend that money better? Let's say, I don't know, we didn't decide to buy Tel. We had 50 million sitting there waiting. Could we buy someone like Semenyo? Semenyo has 11 goals and 7 assists this season for Bournemouth. He's been one of their best players this season. He's a very, very good winger in my opinion. I'd love to have him at Spurs. He's scored 11 goals, 7 assists. Or maybe even Mbeumo, who has 18 goals and 7 assists this season, 25 goal contributions, and he's a very top player and would definitely improve our first team straight away. There's also an argument to say that Mikey Moore has more talent than Tel, and signing Tel could block his development. As for me, Moore is going to be some player for us. We also have to think about Sonny. He's 32 years old now. Form hasn't been the best, but his numbers haven't been terrible. He's still scored 11 goals and got 12 assists. But we will need to replace him at some point. And is Tel going to be that guy to replace Sonny? There was an argument I heard today on one of the channels to say that maybe bring in Solomon to come back because he's on loan at Leeds at the moment. He has 10 goals and 13 assists, and a lot of people were saying Solomon's on fire in the Championship, but that's 10 goals and 13 assists. Yang is currently out on loan, and for me, I still haven't seen enough to think he's ready to play in the Premier League. He may still go out on loan yet, but we still need to have progress for Yang to come through as well. Are we going to hinder his development as well? We have a wealth of talented wingers, including Odegaard, who scored today, set up by Tel. And also, I think he's going to be a top player. So, we have a wealth of wingers. So do we need Tel, saying all that? Should we risk 50 million on him? I know it's not my money, and it doesn't matter how much we spend on a player. It doesn't hurt my pockets. But all I know is if we sign Tel, we're going to have a lot less money to buy top quality players to compete in the Champions League next season. I like him. I think he's super talented. I think he's got a great attitude. I'm just not sure on this. I do know, though, I'd rather have Tel than Werner, but that's not saying much. I'd rather have anyone than Werner, to be honest. We keep mentioning wingers with good stats as well. But remember, there are fans out there that don't like Brennan Johnson. They don't rate him. It's not like they don't like him. They just don't rate him as a footballer. And they say he's not good enough at a lot of aspects. He has 17 goals and 7 assists this season. That's 24 goal contributions. That's only one less than Mbeumo, the person I just said would transform our attack. He's got 6 more goal contributions than Semenyo, who's had a brilliant season according to a lot of Spurs fans. I've heard the argument about Johnson's work rate, defending and his lack of ability to take on players and poor crossing. They're all definitely valid points. But let's say you had a player who was brilliant at getting past his player and had no end product. What would be the actual point and what would be the narrative? In an ideal world, you would want a skillful, assist king, goal-scoring winger, but they're very hard to come by. Salah comes to mind, but how many Salahs are there? You could probably put Mbeumo in that bracket, maybe. Remember the legend Lucas Moura. Very skillful. His biggest asset was getting round players, but his biggest criticism was he had no end product. So now we've got a player in Johnson who has got end product, but hasn't got the skill to go with it. And now Spurs fans are complaining that he's not good enough. See what I'm saying? And Moore was with us for about 4 or 5 years. This is only Johnson's second season, and he's still a young lad. The potential in Tel is he can be that guy who is skillful and can get the goals as well. He's got a brilliant cross on him as well. So he will get assists and he will get goals. But is he good enough? Would you sign him now? Would you sign him for 50 million? Would you sign him if we didn't get Champions League football? Would you sign him if we did? The problem we have is I think we overrate other teams' players and underrate our own. And that's a big problem. You know, if we saw Johnson getting 24 goal contributions for Nottingham Forest this season, we'd be saying sign him up because we wouldn't be watching him as much. Like, I don't watch a lot of Mbeumo. I don't watch a lot of Semenyo. What I do see of them is good, but I don't watch them week in, week out. Like, other fans don't watch Johnson week in, week out. They probably think, what are you moaning about? He's got 24 goal contributions, 17 goals this season. You know, that is not a bad return. And there's still more games to go. He could still hit that 20 goal margin, which would be fantastic. And he's improved from last year as well. But can Tel be that guy? Or are we going to underrate Tel if he doesn't score 20 goals a season? Are we going to say he's not good enough if he doesn't get plus 10 assists? Are we going to say he's not good enough because he's not taken on his man enough? We have to find a happy medium of what we're actually expecting from our wingers as well. And that's going to be massively important. But for me, I'm sitting on the fence with Tel. If I wouldn't pay 50 million for him, then that's saying that he's not good enough to be signed at all. Because it doesn't really matter how much you pay for a player. It matters if they're good enough to be signed. So for me, I think I'm just going to sit on the fence with this and leave it to you guys. I want you guys to tell me in the comments what you would do with Tel. What you do? Is there some other priority in our squad? Is there other positions that's more important that we could spend 50 million on rather than spending it on wingers that we've got plenty of at the moment? And maybe we don't want to block development of the younger players, even though Tel is a younger player, but we would be signing him, and we've already signed these other players already. Anyway, I'm waffling on now. Let me know in the comments what you think of Mathys Tel. Would you sign him? Would you not? And come on, you Spurs.